Paul Marnie, Gallagher Athletic Club. Gallagher Athletic Club, Paul Marnie.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm really honoured to be here tonight to speak to you on this magnificent occasion, the 50th anniversary of the Gallagher Athletic Club. And what a magnificent club this has been in those 50 years. You've heard it all before from earlier this evening, the Hall of Fame presentation, the video. What a superlative effort that this club has put in over the years. 2 Olympians, athletes at all standards, and right through every week we turn out a team to compete against the local clubs. It's a magnificent effort. So I'm really pleased, and I'm wrapping up the evening for you. I hope you've really enjoyed it so far. When I was asked by Jim and the committee to speak tonight and give this presentation, I was really pleased. They said to me I had a completely free rein on what to talk about, so I had to think about that. And what I'd like to do is just to give you a couple of elements from the club's history. And the first of those is to do with the club's name, because when I've spoken to athletes from other clubs over the years, they've often asked me, how did you get your club's name? And I just looked at them and thought, well, that's pretty simple, isn't it? We're based in Gallagher. I thought, but then they said, no, how did the town get its name? And I thought, it's a good question, I was born in the town, I grew up in the town, I ran for years with the athletic club before moving to the big smoke, like a lot of us here tonight. And I'd never asked the question. I just lived in Gallagher and that was it. So I thought, I'm going to research this for tonight's speech. So I've spent a lot of time down at the Jindabyne District Library, and I think I've got the answer. Because, as you know, this goes back a long way, over 100 years. As you know, we're nestled here in the hills around the Snowy Mountains, just above Jindabyne. Tiny little settlement we are. In fact, we don't even appear on some maps. I hope you realise that. But we've developed this magnificent club. Now, I've done some reading, and what I found is that back then, more than 100 years ago, this was just a tiny little settlement without a name. And what was unusual, we had this unusual feature, this flat area, which we now use as our athletic track, this beautiful grassed athletic track. Back then, it was really pretty much like a village green, if you like. And what would happen back then, I've discovered, is that every couple of months, 2 or 3 months, there'd be a bit of a festival day. People would come down, have a picnic on the village green, there'd be a couple of little market stalls. And what eventuated was they ended up having this mile race every time they got together. The local guys from the timber mills and other places would come down and they'd compete running around the village green for the distance of a mile, 3 times or whatever it was, depending on the distance. Now, that became a regular event. But another feature of our athletic track, and you don't notice it now because we've built up the topsoil over the years, is that there's an unusual rock formation underneath, and this was very, very close to the surface. We just had a very thin layer of clay and topsoil. And what that meant, this rock formation, very flat as it was, made the track very hard. It's a bit like Telstra Dome these days, we've got the concrete base and the thin surface. Anyway, the runners would come down, they'd compete for a couple of months, they'd train a bit, and because the Hudsons, they'd often get injured. So what you'd find is if you bumped into one and said, Bill, how you going, mate? Or Jim, how's it going? The answer would often be, I've got a crook knee, It was so frequent that the town became known as got a crook knee. And over the years, it's just become got a crook knee. It's changed a little bit, but that's how we got our name. So that's a little bit of history for you. Now, what other history have we got? Well, lots and lots, as we all know, but one interesting little tale I'd like to share with you is it was influenced by events way over in Boston, USA. The famous Boston Marathon. It was 1980. Has anybody heard of Rosie Ruiz? Okay, Boston Marathon 1980. The men's race was won by Bill Rogers. It was his third victory in a row. He won 4 overall at that stage, and he was expected to win. But was there an expected winner in the women's race? Well, the lady who won was not expected. Her name was Rosie Ruiz. Now, what happened was Rosie crossed the line in a time of around 2 hours 32 minutes, magnificent time. At that stage, it was the 3rd fastest women's time in history. But she'd only ever run one marathon before. That was the New York Marathon of 1979 in a time of 2 hours 56 minutes. So she knocked all that time off, and she came through as complete unknown. So anyway, she won the race, and she was given the award, standing on the podium with Bill Rogers. He's got the laurel wreath for the men's winner and the silverware and everything. Rosie's got her laurel wreath for the women's race with all her silverware and all the rest. And people are watching this thinking, we've never heard of Rosie Ruiz. She doesn't look that red in the face. She's not that sweaty. She doesn't look that tired. Has she really run the marathon? Questions were being asked. Then it was a witness came forward and said that in the New York race last year, during the race, they'd spoken to Rosie on the subway. It was alleged, and Rosie's never admitted this, but it was alleged that she started the New York Marathon, ran off the course, maybe, I don't know, maybe to tie up her lace or something, boarded the subway, joined the race close to the end, and came across in a great time of 2 hours 56 minutes. So the organisers put 2 and 2 together. Never heard of her. She's come in, she's won this race. 2 hours 32 doesn't sound right. No other runners and no officials had seen her during the Boston Marathon. So what happened was she was disqualified. Now, how does that relate to our great club? Well, a certain club member who shall remain nameless, won't he, Nick? Back in 1980 suggested to the committee that we change the course of our annual race, which runs, as you know, our annual race every year from Guttercrookney to the town down the road, which many of you come from, and we're very pleased, on the yak and back. So we had our race every year from Guttercrookney to Omiak and back. In fact, it was an out and back course, so we should really call it Guttercrookney to Omiak and back. But anyway, make it too confusing. So anyway, it was suggested that we change the course from Guttercrookney to Jindabyne, a bigger town, and change it from Sunday to Saturday. Now, we thought about this, and the reasons given were really that it'll raise the profile of the race, this sort of thing. We don't need a high profile. We can go to Crookney, we don't need this sort of thing. But then we found on the athlete's bag, sports bag one day, an article about Rosie Ruiz and the Boston Marathon, and a little laurel wreath there. We put 2 and 2 together. Bigger town, Saturday. Bus service from Guttercrookney to Jindabyne, no bus service from Guttercrookney to Omiak and back. The plot was uncovered. So, needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't go ahead. But the athlete in question was planning to have a prank, a good laugh. It would have been a load of fun. But he was going to, we believe, to start the race, maybe run off to tie his shoelaces, get to the finish somehow and run across the line with the laurel wreath, just imitating you-know-who from Boston Marathon. But it would have been a laugh, but the committee, maybe we should have let it happen. But that's another little element of history to our great club. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic night. I hope you've enjoyed all the chat with people you might not have seen for years and years. The committee's done a fantastic job, I think, to get us all together tonight. I love the Hall of Fame presentation, the award ceremony, the video. The whole night's been fantastic. We've had a fantastic 50 years, and I look forward to enjoying the next 50 with all of you. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.